Hello circles and welcome to your extra little video where I just want to go through something else in a little bit more detail, and that is multiplying two decimal numbers together. Now I'm going to show you two methods and you may use a mix of them. You may use whichever seems to be more comfortable for you. So if I am multiplying two decimals together, okay, method A that I could use would be the grid method. So I'm just going to quickly draw out a grid here, okay, so I can partition my numbers. So I'm going to be doing multiplication. I'm going to partition the 4.32. So it's 4, 0.3, and 0.02. And then on the top, I've got 5, because I'm going to partition 5.7 to a 5, and a 0.7. And I can now look at multiplying them as a normal grid method. But you just have to be careful with where your decimal points are going to go. So let me just change to a different colour. 4 times 5, well that's fairly straightforward. 4 times 5 is 20. Let's go with 4 times 0.7. Well, 4 times 7 is 28. So 4 times 0.7 must be 2.8. 0.3 times 5, well, again, you already know that 3 times 5 is 15, so 0.3 times 5 must be 1.5. Then I get to a tricky one here, 0.3 times 0.7. Just up here, I know that 3 times 7 is equal to 21. So 0.3 times 7 must equal, because I've divided the 3 by 10, okay, must equal to 2.1. And furthermore, 0.3 times 0.7 must add another decimal place in there, and that'll give you 0.21. So there we go, 0.21. And then I have got 0.02 times 5. Again, I'm going to do this on the sort of left-hand side here now. I know that 2 times 5 equals 10. So 0.2 times 5 is equal to 1, and 0.02 times 5 must equal to 0.1. So there we go, 0.1. And then my final box here is 0.02 times 0.7. You could use the same methodology behind your working using those number facts. Okay, 2 times 7 is equal to 14. So 2 times 0.7 is equal to 1.4. 0.2 times 0.7 is equal to 0.14. But I've still got to go further. 0.02 times 0.7 is going to equal to 0.014. So there we go, 0.014. And then as usual with my column, with my grid method, as usual, oh, apologies for 2 lines. With my grid method, I would then need to add them up. So along this side here, I'll do these ones first. 20 plus 1.5 plus 0.1 is going to equal to 21.6. And now it's a little bit tricky here. I just need to be careful with my addition. Okay, so 2.8 plus 0.21, that is going to equal to 3.01. So these two added together is 3.01. Apologies for that line. Let me just get rid of that one there. Rewrite that again. If I add them two together, is 3.01. Then if I add my 0.014 to it, that is going to equal to 0.024. And I can now add them together. 21.6 plus 3.024, that's going to give me a grand total of 24.624. Okay. That's part 1. Now I'm going to use method B to solve this one. Okay. Now I should get the answer of 24.624 as I've done here. Okay, using the grid method. But I'm going to use the column method for this one. And for this, I'm going to actually imagine that it's actually 432 times by 57. Now the reason I'm doing that, okay, is just to not worry too much about the decimal places. I'll come to the decimal places at the end. So in effect, I've times this one by 100, and I've effectively times this one by 10. okay, to get 432 times 57. Now, I could work that out in my usual way. 7 times 2 is 14. 7 times 3 is 21, plus my 1 is 22. 7 times 4 is 28, plus my 2 is going to be 30. And then I'm going to do 50 times 432. Again, golden place value rule there, golden place value holder. And then I can do 5 times 2. 5 times 2 is indeed 10. Okay. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 1 is 16. And then 5 times 4 is 20, plus 1 is 21. And then I can add them together. Okay, my next step. So it's 4, 2, 6, 4, and 2. Okay, but you'll notice that that obviously doesn't work for that. 4.32 times 5.27 is not 24,624. I've got to put in my decimal places back in. Now, there's two ways of looking at this. Option number one is to count how many decimal places are after the decimal place. So I've got 1, 2, and 3. Therefore, my answer at the bottom will have 3 decimal places. 1, 2, 3, and it will go there. Another way to imagine this one here now, okay, if you had the answer of 24,624, you've multiplied your original one by 100 and by 10. So you would have to divide 24,624, you would have to divide it by 10. Apologies, that says times. You would have to divide it by 10, which would give you 246, 2.4, and then divide that one by 100, which again, the decimal place moves 2 places across. So 24.624. Okay, and notice it gets me the same answer. And that is the way to solve this one, is to imagine at the start that there's no decimal places. And option A is to count how many numbers come after the decimal place, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then put in your decimal place. Or remember what you've multiplied it by to get this one originally, so times by 100 times by 10, and then divide by 10, divide by 100 of your answer. And these are ways to solve multiplication problems. So I've got method number 1, the grid method, and method number 2, using column method. Just be very careful with the decimal places. Now, you can go and have a go at your work, which does involve all of these questions. You may use the grid method, or you may use the column method. Whatever one is most suitable for you.